Hey guys, my name is Blake. I make videos about DIY auto for beginners, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to change the oil in your vehicle. This guide is tailored completely to beginners, so if this is your first time, this video is for you. I'll even show you how you can tell if your engine is in healthy condition towards the end of the video. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. The first thing you need to know about changing your oil is what type of oil is best for your vehicle. There are 3 types of oil for your car: synthetic, synthetic blend, and conventional. The main difference between them is that synthetic is man-made, while conventional is oil straight from the ground. Conventional oil is basically refined crude oil, while synthetic oil is engineered in a lab to be more consistent and handle heat and wear better. If you want your car to last a long time, go with synthetic. It's formulated in a lab specifically for modern-day engines. The other benefit is that it lasts longer between oil changes. Instead of going 3,000 miles on an oil change, you can go around 5,000 miles depending on your driving style. However, if you look at your owner's manual, it may say you can go to 7,000 miles or even 10,000 miles between oil changes. That's the manufacturer's recommendation, but if you want your car to last a long time, it's better to change it sooner. Whenever you get ready to purchase your oil, just make sure it says synthetic somewhere on the bottle. Keep in mind, almost all brands have both conventional and synthetic oils. I hope you have a better understanding now of the different types. Now let's talk about the different brands of oil. There are many different brands of oil, just like there are car brands. Most oil brands put out good products. I've sorted this list by most popular and what I would personally recommend to a beginner doing this for the first time. If money is not an issue and you want the best of the best, go with AMSOIL. Just know they almost exclusively sell online. If you want an easier to find great oil, go with Mobil 1. If you want a great oil for a little less, go with Valvoline. And if you are on a budget but still want synthetic oil, go with Supertech. Again, all of these oil brands are great. They all perform well and will help your car last a long time. Just remember, it's not what brand you use, but how often you change the oil that matters the most. The next thing we need to be educated on is the viscosity of the oil that your specific car needs and how much oil your vehicle calls for. The viscosity is basically how thick the oil is and how well it can handle different temperatures and climates for your area. Each vehicle is different, but it's easy to find out which type you need. There are 3 different ways to figure this out. You can look it up in your vehicle's owner manual, go online, which is probably the easiest, or check the oil cap. The only downside is the oil cap won't tell you how much you need. If you underfill your oil, that can damage your engine, and the same thing happens if you overfill it. That's why it's important to know exactly how many quarts or liters your engine needs. If you want more details about how to change your oil and the different types, head over to my website, steelandstuds.com, or click the link in the description. Here are all the tools that you'll need to do a full oil change service on your vehicle. We will need a torque wrench. This is optional, but it might be good if you're just starting out so you don't over-tighten the oil drain bolt. A 3/8 breaker bar in case the oil filter or drain bolt is too tight. Oil filter pliers for certain types of oil filters that can be harder to remove. Some paper towels. You will almost certainly spill a little oil somewhere. Rubber gloves to protect your hands. A funnel to pour the new oil into the engine. An oil drain pan to catch the engine oil. A spill mat in case you do spill any oil onto the ground. And finally, the oil for your car and a new oil filter. Next, we need to get the vehicle in the air so we can get underneath and change the oil. There are 3 different ways to do this. The first method is using a jack and jack stance. Before lifting the vehicle, it's a good idea to chock the back wheels to prevent it from rolling. Then make sure you're lifting from the frame or pinch weld, since these are designed to support the weight of the vehicle. Once the vehicle is in the air, place a jack stand underneath and slowly lower some of the weight onto it. Before you get underneath, give the vehicle a good shake and make sure everything feels solid. Method number 2 is using ramps, and this is probably my favorite method. They're quick and easy to use. Just drive the vehicle onto the ramps, put it in park, and set the parking brake. If you don't have any jacks or ramps, you can also pull the vehicle up onto the curb. This will give you a little more room to work underneath the vehicle. Once the vehicle is safely in the air, we can now start changing the oil. Next, we can open the hood. Most vehicles have a hood release somewhere underneath the steering wheel area. Pull the lever and the hood should pop up slightly. Then head to the front of the vehicle and release the secondary latch underneath the hood. Every vehicle is a little different, but it's usually right in the center, slightly off to one side. Once the hood is open, locate the oil fill cap on the top of the engine and remove it. A trick I like to use is placing the oil cap by the hood latch. That way, when you're done, you won't accidentally close the hood and forget to add the new oil. Oil caps will be in different places, but all the caps will have some sort of oil logo and usually the viscosity of the oil. Just make sure you find the correct cap. Now we can place our oil spill mat underneath the vehicle and locate the oil drain bolt. There are a lot of nuts and bolts under the vehicle, but the oil pan where the oil is held is usually a big flat area with a single bolt coming out of it. My vehicle has a cover over the oil pan, so I'll remove that before draining out any oil. Once that's removed, now's a good time to figure out where your oil filter is located. Mine is just off to the side of the drain bolt, but yours will probably look different and be in a different location. For example, my Buick LaCrosse has the oil filter closer to the top, located in the front of the engine, and my truck has one located at the bottom front of the engine. They both also use a metal oil filter, where the Kia uses a plastic housing for the oil filter. Now we can loosen the drain bolt and drain out the oil. After you loosen the bolt with a wrench, I like to use my hands to loosen it all the way until the threads skip once or twice. Then I can pull the drain plug without making as big of a mess. While that's draining, we can take a look at the drain bolt and make sure that little crush washer is not stuck to the drain pan. We will want to replace this crush washer before reinstalling the drain bolt. Now we can go ahead and remove the oil filter. Mine has the plastic housing, so I'll use a ratchet, but if you have a metal oil filter, you can either do it with your hands, or you might need to use one of those oil filter pliers I talked about earlier. Once most of the oil is drained out, we can go ahead and replace the old filter with our new one. Since I'm using a plastic housing, my new filter comes with a new rubber gasket, so I'll go ahead and replace that while I'm here. If you have a similar housing, it's a good idea to replace this, but you don't have to every time as long as it's in good condition. It's also a good idea to rub oil around the new gasket to keep it lubricated. One way to tell if your engine is in healthy condition is by taking a look at the oil filter itself. You can do this by cutting the oil filter pleats and squeezing out some of the oil. If you have a vise, you can also use that to get more oil out of the pleats. If the filter has any pieces of metal that look like glitter, this can be a sign that your engine is wearing down inside too quickly. It's pretty normal to see a few specks of metal here and there, and that means your filter did a good job. A lot of glitter or large chunks of metal is definitely a bad sign. Now we can pop our new filter in place and also replace our crush washer on our drain bolt. Next, we can head back under the vehicle and reinstall the oil filter. If you have a metal oil filter, you can just screw it in place by hand. Then we can torque the oil filter housing to spec. We can also go ahead and reinstall the oil drain bolt and torque that to 30 foot-pounds. Then we can clean everything up so we know it's not leaking anywhere. Once everything is clean, we can head back up to the top and start adding our new engine oil. I first like to clean my funnel so no debris get inside my engine. I'll place the funnel in a way that it won't spill anything and just start pouring in the new oil. My vehicle calls for 6.9 quarts, so I'll add a 5-quart jug and then keep an eye on the side of the bottle to finish out the last 1.9 quarts. Once everything is in, you can take out the funnel and clean it off for next time. Then just reinstall the oil cap until you hear a click. Now, if you followed up to this point, it should be safe to start the vehicle now that we have our fresh oil in. Usually you can hear the motor rev high at the beginning and then calm down once it has oil pressure. After that, we can turn it back off and double check for any leaks under the vehicle. If everything looks good here with no leaks, we can now reinstall the oil pan cover if you have one. Next, we can back the vehicle down off the ramps to a level surface and check the oil level. To check our oil level, we need to locate the oil dipstick, which for me is the yellow tab right in front of the engine that has engine oil on it. To check the oil, we will want to pull it out once, wipe it off with a rag, reinsert it, and pull it back out again. We do this because the engine was just running and it splashes oil on the dipstick, giving us a false reading. The oil level should be between the hash marks or the little dots indicating that it's at the correct level. If you added the recommended amount for your vehicle, the level should be right where it needs to be. Now is also a good time to check on anything else for your vehicle, for any maintenance items like washer fluid, engine air filter, coolant, tires, etc. If everything looks good, then you can reset the engine oil service light on the dash. Each car will be different, so you may need to look it up for your specific vehicle. Once that's done, we need to dispose of the old engine oil properly. I like to just put it back in the jugs that I used to fill up the vehicle and then just take it to the nearest auto parts store. They should take it for free, but it might be wise to call ahead before you drive over there. I also like to take a big Sharpie to my old jugs just so I don't get confused and accidentally add them to my vehicle. I hope this video helped you out, and I'll talk to you guys later.